What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me again today. My name is Ben. Today, not only are we going to talk about the USMNT and our qualifying schedule, but we're also going to take a look at the CONCACAF standings as a whole. We're going to break down the 5 or 6 teams that I think are relevant right now to actually claiming one of those top 4 spots. And then we're going to go ahead and take a look and see how I project things will end here at the end of March after these next 2 qualifying windows. Now, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, the top 3 teams from CONCACAF automatically qualify for Qatar, and that 4th team will go in a playoff against what will likely be New Zealand. Then the winner of that playoff between New Zealand and whoever that 4th team is will clinch another spot towards Qatar here in 2022. And before we hop right into this video, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you like what we're talking about here with USMNT and all things CONCACAF. And it doesn't cost you anything, helps the channel out, helps us grow and connect with more USMNT and CONCACAF fans. So go ahead and, like I said, hit that like and subscribe video. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so going into the first window here of 2022, second to last window overall for CONCACAF qualifying, you can see the standings that we have here on the screen. Canada sits in first, USA in second, Mexico third, Panama 4, Costa Rica 5, Jamaica 6, Salvador 7, and Honduras in 8th. Now, I genuinely believe that the top 6 teams still have a shot at qualifying towards Qatar. Top 3, I think you guys can kind of tell where that is. But then Panama, Costa Rica, Jamaica, I think all have a legitimate shot at that number 4 spot. Part of the reason why I include Panama in that second tier of 4 through 6 is because of the schedule that the teams have left. Now, as we get into the next couple slides, we'll be able to see breakdown of who plays who, home and away, and then we'll finish it up with what I think the final standings of the 8 teams are going to be. Now, Canada doesn't have that easy of a schedule to end CONCACAF qualifying. As you can see here, 4 of the 6 remaining games that they have are going to be away, and as everybody knows, CONCACAF away, that's always a difficult opponent. Now, the 2 home games that they have are the United States and Jamaica. But first, we'll look at this first window here coming up end of January. We have at Honduras, at home against the United States, and then at El Salvador. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say the United States and Canada are going to play to a draw. So that's 1 point there for Canada. I do think that Honduras and El Salvador are going to put up good fights. So I'll go ahead and say that Canada is going to win one of those games, and then they're going to tie one of those games. So they'll actually finish that first window with 5 points. Now, when they come into the March window, we still have Costa Rica away, Jamaica at home, and Panama away as well. These last 3 games are going to be critical for all 4 of these teams, Canada, Costa Rica, Jamaica, and Panama, all 4 of them fighting for that 3rd, 4th spot, and possibly even the 2nd. Now, I do believe that since all 3 of these are going to be tough, I'm going to give all 3 of these games a draw. So Canada will still get 3 points out of this final window here. Mexico currently sits in 3rd in CONCACAF qualifying on a goal differential between them and Panama. Now, when you look at the schedule that they have left, 4 games are going to be at home, and 2 games are going to be on the road. Now, so when we look at this first window, we've got at Jamaica, Costa Rica at home, and Panama at home. Now, Jamaica is one of the teams that I think is going to finish CONCACAF qualifying very strong. So I'm going to give them a draw away at Jamaica. And Mexico, I think, beats Costa Rica, and I think they beat Panama. So they finish the first window with 7 points. Now, as for the second window, they have the United States at home, Honduras away, and El Salvador at home. Now, just because the United States has kind of had Mexico's number the last 3 games that they've played, I have to give this at least a draw for the USA. So that's 1 point there for Mexico. And then at Honduras, at El Salvador, I think Mexico just has the quality that they're going to go ahead and take those 6 points and finish with another 7 points here in the final qualifying window. Panama does have a pretty tough schedule to finish the CONCACAF qualifying windows. You look at this, and they've got 3 games at home and 3 games away. In this first window of 2022, they are at Costa Rica, at home against Jamaica, and at Mexico. Now, I do think at home against Jamaica is going to be a draw. That Jamaican team, like I mentioned before, I believe is going to finish very tough. Now, at Costa Rica on January 27th, I do think that's also going to be a draw. Costa Rica is always a tough place to play. And if you look at the game that they had last time, the 2 teams were neck and neck. It was a very good game. And then at Mexico, I am going to give the edge to Mexico in this game. So Panama is going to finish this first window here of 2022 with just 2 points, with a draw against Costa Rica and a draw against Jamaica. the final window for Panama, they have at home against Honduras, at the United States, and then at home against Canada. Now, the game at home against Honduras, I think, is going to be a pretty straightforward win for Panama, so that'll give them 3 points so far for this window. When they go to the United States, I think the United States is going to play with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder after losing 1-0 away at Panama, and so I believe that Panama goes to USA and loses. And then at home versus Canada, that game I think is going to have a lot of eyes on it for CONCACAF because the winner of this game might just sneak into that third or fourth spot. I think that's going to play a lot for seeding when it comes down to it here at the end of the qualifying window. But at this time, I'm going to go ahead and give this a draw. So Panama's going to finish this second window here with 4 points. Costa Rica currently sits in fifth in CONCACAF qualifying. Now, when you look at who they have to play left, they do have a fairly tough remainder of their schedule. In their final 6 games, they have 3 away games, 3 at home games. Here in this first window, they have a home game against Panama, then they go to Mexico, and then they go to Jamaica. Now, Costa Rica, they do have some quality players. I do think that they're going to go ahead and pick up a draw against Panama. But as for Mexico and Jamaica, I think both of these games are going to be losses. So Costa Rica is going to finish this first window here of 2022 with just 1 point, which is really going to make this final window tough for them to go ahead and qualify for Qatar. For the March window of qualifying for Costa Rica, they are at home against Canada, away to El Salvador, and at home to the United States. Now, this final window is going to be crucial for Costa Rica to finish strong so that way they have a legitimate shot at still qualifying for Qatar. Now, when they play Canada at home, I do believe being at home is going to help them with their home crowd, hopefully, and they'll be able to get 1 point here against Canada. I do think they'll go on the road to El Salvador, take care of business, and pick up 3 points there with a win. And then on the 30th against the United States, depending on how the rest of CONCACAF looks at this point, there could be a few different lineups that show up for the United States in this game. I'm going to go ahead and say that Costa Rica is going to pick up a draw here against the United States at home, which means they'll finish with 5 points here in this March window. Now, if Jamaica, and this is a big if, can get all of their English dual nationals to commit to this team and come in these last 2 windows and compete, I do think that they will keep themselves as a legitimate contender of claiming that 4th spot to go to the playoff for a chance to make Qatar. So when we look at this first window here, that game against Mexico at home is going to be critical. I think they're going to go ahead and get 1 point there. Now, Mexico, they're always a tough team to play. Being at home, I think, is going to give them the advantage. Panama on the road, we've said it numerous times, away games in CONCACAF are tough. I think Jamaica is going to go ahead and get 1 point on the road there against Panama. Now, here's where they really need to take care of business. If they do not pick up 3 points against Costa Rica, they're all but done. So I'm going to go ahead and just say that they're going to pick up 3 points at home versus Costa Rica, which will give them 5 points for this January qualifying window. Jamaica's World Cup chances are going to come down to this final window. If they can pick up some quality points here, they have a legitimate shot at still making it to Qatar, in my opinion, when we get to March. Now, the schedule is favorable for them. They have El Salvador at home. They have Canada away, and then they have Honduras at home. I do think they pick up 3 points against El Salvador. I think they pick up 3 points against Honduras. And that Canada game is going to be critical for them to pick up a point on the road. That's going to be a tough game, but we saw in the past that they do have the quality with good performances against Mexico and against the United States that they should be able to pick up a point here on the road at Canada. The United States currently sits in second place in CONCACAF qualifying. Coming into these last 2 windows, there's still quite a bit of work to do to guarantee our spot at Qatar, or to at least give us a top 3 spot and avoid the playoff that we would have to play likely against New Zealand. Now, when you look at who we're going to play in January, we are at home against El Salvador, we are on the road to Canada, and at home against Honduras. The way I look at this is it needs to be a minimum of 7 points that we get. El Salvador at home and Honduras at home both should be 3 points. If we do not get 3 points in each of those games, that is going to be a massive loss and will make this final part of qualifying that much more difficult for us. I also think that due to Alphonso Davies not being in the Canadian national team for this January window, and hopefully the United States is able to put together quality wingers, depending on what Greg pulls in the next couple days, I do think we can finish that game in a draw, which would give us that 7 points here in the first window. Going into this last part of World Cup qualifying here in CONCACAF, you can make the argument that the United States has one of the toughest schedules for our last 3 final games. We go on the road to Mexico, we host Panama, and then we finish on the road at Costa Rica. Now, I do believe we are able to pick up a point on the road against Mexico. I do believe that we have a revenge game against Panama where we are able to pick up those 3 points at home. And then that game against Costa Rica on the road, CONCACAF, yes, it is tough. I do believe we are going to pick up 1 point on the road against Costa Rica, and we will finish that last qualifying window with 5 points. Now, when all things are said and done, when it comes to the end of the day, March 30th here, 2022, I do believe the standings will play out as follows. We're going to have Mexico sitting in first with 28 points, United States with 27, Canada with 24, Panama with 20, and Jamaica at 19. Now, where it gets interesting is I did pick Jamaica to finish CONCACAF qualifying very strong. Now, if Panama slips up a little bit more than what I had them, then I do think Jamaica does have the quality to be able to slip into that 4th place. Now, when you look at a team like Canada, I was very conservative with Canada in the second group of qualifying there here in 2022. I gave them 3 draws. If any of those are a win, they're right up there fighting for the top with USA and Mexico. And I have no doubt in my mind that that very well could happen. Now, I was very generous with the United States and with Mexico. Obviously, any of these 5 teams, really the top 4, I think, are probably pretty set in stone. It's going to be a little bit of a jump for Jamaica to make that final 4 push. But any of these 4 teams, no matter how it is, that 4th team is going to go against New Zealand. And whether it's Panama, Canada, United States, Mexico, I do think they should have no problem beating New Zealand in a playoff. All right, guys, so that does it for me today with not only what we have for the USMNT, but for CONCACAF World Cup qualifying as a whole, when we look and see who's going to qualify and take those automatic bids to go towards Qatar here in December. Now, not only those 3 automatic bids, but remember, we do have that 4th team that's going to sneak in and have that knockout round to see if they can qualify to Qatar, likely against New Zealand. So go ahead, guys, help me out, hit that like button, hit subscribe button. I thank you very much for that. Go ahead also and leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts were on the teams that I had making it to Qatar, our top 3, not only, and then the 4th one that's going to have to play that knockout round. And of course, I'm going to be looking at the comments. I'll be interacting with you guys, responding to see what you have. And that'll do it for this video. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.